What's up, Orlando? What's happening with y'all, man? Welcome to Orange County Urban Media. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you don't, I'll come over there and kick your ass. But, you know, tonight, we're gonna sit back and chill. We're going to learn. Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball to the left. Right? I don't know. I'm not good with my left and my right.
Start off shoving a good foot.
But I'm going to go ahead and pass along. Before I pass along, I got to introduce my panel. So I got my girl Ashley.
Hello.
I got my girl Soso, Lynn.
Yeah.
And I got a new person on the squad named Frankie. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass the ball to my girl Ashley.
Hello. Welcome. And thank y'all for coming back. Today we have a special guest. He goes by the name Ruben Saldaña. I'm trying to say it like Spanish people. Saldaña. I said it right? Okay. So, we just want to get to know a little bit more about you and, you know, your community. But first we want to start with where you're from. So tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you do, and how you got to Florida, Orlando.
I was born in Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. Raised in Miami, ended up in Orlando in 1991.
Okay. So I heard you were a part of a gang. Can you explain to us about how you were led into this gang?
It's pretty much a typical story. Didn't have my mother and father got divorced. I come from a black Puerto Rican father and a white Italian mother, and they divorced in my younger years, so it was all right when I was on the military bases. However, until we moved to Miami, right, the violence, the racism was something I had never experienced. Wasn't even used to the Southern culture. It's way different, yeah. And so, you know, a lot of people say, you know, I'm from the South, down South, but, you know, like Miami, that's the real down South of the United States. If you would take a penny and drop it into Canada, you know, it's gonna roll right down and settle right down there in Miami, right? So that's like the real down south. So it was really different. It was a cultural shock for me. And so 4 younger sisters and a mother that was in the Army busting her behind for 4 younger sisters and her son, myself, couldn't take care of me in the streets, right? So naturally, before I hit puberty, I ended up joining the biggest gang in Miami. And then
the police?
Ooh, you must have been in Miami, because them police are a different type of animal down there.
That's a whole
breed. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. That you need a whole podcast on that one. So I ended up joining that, and then about time I want to say 13, 14, I ended up becoming the leader of what they call the junior division or the baby division, depending on who you spoke to. And just from there, my life just went horrible. I told you I moved to Orlando in 91. The house got shot up 3 times in 1 month. Wow. And so my mother couldn't take it no more.
He was looking for like a family?
I was looking for, I was a skateboarder. I liked, at that time, what was called the white boy sport, right? You know what I mean? I was just a skateboarder. I just like to have fun. Skateboard, do what most kids, swim in the canals. In Miami at that time, in the hood, our swimming pool was the canals. And even though they were gator infested, strangely, the gators never met. This is why you don't find too many people that are scared of gators in Miami. That were raised there. Rarely would you ever find any.
That's because they eat them.
They don't mess with us. Like, we swam with them, I promise you, in Naranja Lakes. Look it up, Naranja. Ask anybody from Naranja about swimming. I don't know about now. But in the 80s, I don't recall a single biting history, none of that. I know in the University of Miami, but you're talking about the saltwater gushing right off of the ocean. But we swam with the gators with no problem. And so I was a regular kid, right? I wasn't, to answer your question, no, I wasn't looking for a family. I was good. I liked my friends, my skateboarding friends, right? And they were multicultural as well, but, they weren't the cool multicultural kids because they were skateboarders, right? And so we had a little bit of everything. I remember we had a black Chris and a white Chris, and we had to say black or white because it was 2 Chris's. One was black, one was white. Yeah. And, since the skateboarding culture at that time wasn't very much respected, we were forced into gangs, right? I didn't say, hey, I want to be a gang because I like, the violence that you do and stuff like it wasn't even like that. Ended up turning my half pipe in my front yard into a armory for the gang. That's where we used to keep our guns at. So when people were going by doing the drive-bys, you know, we'd run right up under the ramp, come out, spraying, shooting. And so my skateboarding, you know, my good-hearted, intended childhood skateboarding dream kind of like turned into gang violence. Yeah, okay. Sadly. It's kind of sad when I look at it now. And now, you know, skateboarding is real popular in the minority communities, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very popular. Yeah. And so from the rappers on down, right?
In itself, though, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so no, I wasn't looking for a gang. I don't remember who asked the question. Yeah. So, but I was kind of forced into it. I couldn't go to any other neighborhood without getting jumped or having guns pulled on us. So kind of had to join the gang to even survive.
So what was your turning point to get out of the gang?
Ooh.
Or when did you get out of the gang?
Okay, let me give the bridge before the gang exit. Okay. So I told you I came to Orlando in '91. My mother moved us here. There was too much violence going on. And the next year, the following year, I was 16 years old. I ended up going to prison. So one of the, the United States incarcerates more than any other nation in the world. However they do it per capita, however they set it up, the statistics, right? And then what a lot of people don't know is Florida is #1 in the United States for locking up juveniles into adult facilities. And Orange County is #1 in that. A lot of people think it's Miami or Jacksonville. I think it still is. I know it was at that time. Orlando, so I was one of those ones that was sent to the adult prison system. Never even seen a detention center here in Michigan and Birmingham. Don't even know what it looks like. First time. And so that ended up at 16 turning into 19 years, almost 2 decades in prison.
Consecutively?
It was 3 bids, but it was the probation. When you give a 16-year-old child 4 years prison with 5 years probation, I'm still in the gang lifestyle. So, I'm trying to beat the system, but at the same time, I'm becoming a monster in the system, right? Because, the survival is you're going to be, you've heard it, right? The minnow, or you're going to be the shark, right? Correct. And so in time, I found out that I could be a dolphin, right? That I could, keep the shark up. I could be peaceful, but the shark knew what time it was when it came around the dolphin as well, right? So, and then every now and then I had to hit a minnow, right? Let him know, don't take the kindness for something that it ain't, right? So, yeah.
Being 16, going into prison, what was your first thought when they sentenced you? What was going through your head?
How the hell did I get here?
No, I don't even think that. I don't even think
before you get sentenced, you're dealing with lawyers a lot. You're dealing with your statistics. I took a plea bargain to go. It's crazy. I took a plea bargain thinking I was going to a juvenile boot camp. So I come from military background, as I said, right? Military school. So I literally thought I'm going to leave 33rd and they're going to put me in a boot camp, which I've been used to from the military, right? And so I didn't realize that boot camp in the Florida Department of Corrections was for youthful offenders, meaning under 25. So you get sent to a prison. Oh, wow. And then it's worse than a prison when you get there. So I went to Sumter. They got a prison in Sumter. Sumter's known as an all right prison except for the boot camp, right? So I remember when I got off the bus at Sumter, it was like dealing with robots. Like, they tell you don't drop your box, right? Don't drop anything that belongs to you. So you're sitting there struggling. They'll have you put it on your head. And then the kid in front of me spit on the ground. And then, like, all these sergeants ran, these boot camp officers ran up to him, pick it up, get it off the floor, Baba. And we're like, yeah, his spit. He's like, sir, I spit, pick it up. So they made him pick. He put his box down. They screamed at him about putting his box down. He had to put his box up, pick up the spit with the dirt. They said, put it in your pocket. So he put it in, so this is the first seconds there. So, yeah, so I lasted, just to let you know, I had a choice. Do 90 days of that or deal with my 4-year prison sentence. I chose the 4-year prison. I lasted like 4 days in there. I said, I ain't doing this. I couldn't handle it.
What do you think? Right. How come? I don't know if this is relevant from the time that you were in. Was it different how everyone in prison felt like it was like a badge of honor to go to prison? Because now it is.
Oh, it was back then too. When you join a gang, people spoke about, the steps. You deal with the mental institutions. Over there in Miami at that time was Grant Hospital. Over here in Orlando, it was across the street from SeaWorld with the irony, right? It was called Laurel Oaks. So when you screwed up, that was like the first step to know you were on your way to jail. Matter of fact, that's how I ended up in prison. To tell you a story, they sent me to Laurel Oaks here in Orlando, and I escaped after I think 2-3 months there. And once again, I didn't want to deal with it. I just couldn't relate with the mental health. I wasn't there for being a gangbanger. Everybody else had serious issues I recognize now, child molestations. They were just broken men. I just couldn't. That wasn't me. I was a gangbanger, right? There was only two more of us in there.
That's why I asked you that.
Yeah. I had a brother from Little Rock.
It wasn't nothing personal. It was just like, I want to understand because most people be coming from a different place.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right on. Yeah,
You came from a family.
Right.
You still made your decisions.
Right.
So I was just like,
How did that happen?
How did that?
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So I just kind of graduated into the criminal lifestyle, with that,
It was
and
a
then
progression.
yeah,
And that's what
absolutely,
you
yeah.
see with
Well,
your
we can call it progression. Now I look at it as a degression, right? But we knew, to answer the brother's question, we knew when you join a gang, people spoke about it, right? I'm going to tell you something that shocks a lot of people because it just came up last month. Parents were trying to get their kids into Job Corps, and some of the advocates, they were recommending for one of these, kids. I said, don't do it, because we spoke about the mental hospital. The next thing was Job Corps. Is that's as well intended. I know maybe Job Corps people give you some
lot of
phone
people
calls
do
about
that here.
it. I don't know a single person. Do y'all know a single person that Job Corps changed my life? I don't know not one. And I know thousands of screw ups, thousands and thousands of them, right? That have been there. It's a gang. It's a gang ground. If your kid isn't a gang member, they'll be one when they get there most of the time, right? So we talked about Job Corps. Then of course we talked about the detention center, but then they talked about prison. So I graduated. I skipped all that. And I went right to the So I was kind of upset that I didn't get to gradually make my way into prison, right? And so I just kind of jumped into it. So at this point you got to survive. So whatever's supposed to be wasn't, and prison's not what people think it is either. That's a whole nother animal. However far y'all want to go into it, it's cool. I didn't think we were going to talk about prison, but I'm transparent about it.
Just the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't in a whole bunch of fights or anything in there. were you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got. Oh, yeah.
It's survive.
Yeah, you got to
right?
survive.
You
Yeah,
gotta survive.
yeah. You let somebody take your soup. It starts with the soup, then your shirt, then your boxers, and then what comes from there. Your butt booty naked. Then, you just all in from there. So yeah, we're gonna stop with the soup. We're gonna stop with the asking about the soup. We're gonna stop right there.
I had
yeah.
to learn a deep lesson about that from one of my nephews. Like, he went away, and I asked one of the guys in there to look out for my nephew, and he said, "Why did you do that, Frankie?"
Oh yeah, that's
You ain't supposed
Yeah,
to
you're
do
not
that.
supposed to do that.
yeah. You gave him a war daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
That's
but
horrible.
I was like, that's my
Yeah.
nephew. You get what I'm saying? I didn't know this
Yeah.
whole at the
That
time.
was a
I was
setup.
young.
Yeah.
But he was also very young, 15
And you
years
don't
old.
know at that
And he
time.
went away, and then he went to prison. Same story as you. So I didn't know. I was 15. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
super young. So I'm just like nervous.
It's
'cause
a different
Because I
language.
know him, and I know he's a good person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you gotta,
Yeah, but prison is not on any kind of scale of what people think. I promise you, on no kind of level.
no scale. That's
yeah,
what.
yeah. Like
that's
if
what
you
I'm saying.
think if I could flip the script on the podcast right now and ask each one of you,
I would
what do you think
survive.
happens in prison? I'm almost guaranteeing you, I'll show you otherwise that's not what happens on almost any level. You think all the child molesters are being raped? Lie.
True.
You think all the snitches are getting stitches? Lie.
No.
So why do they
You think your big homie or
That's
your
what
uncle?
you see on television.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
It's kind of the
Hey,
persona
you
that
think
they
the
put
big
out there.
homie or the unk that came doing 30, 40 years was running a prison? That's a damn lie. They sat on the bunk just like the rest of them on death row. What's your DC number? 89568, sir. Yeah, nobody's running. The officer, the squares, right? The ones that we
trying to
were
get through
picking
it.
on in school, the ones we were slapping, the ones we were taking their lunch money. The ones we were beating up on for the Snicker bars that they were trying to sell for the school. Yeah, those are the correctional officers now. So now it's their turn to get back. Yeah, it reversed. And you think they forgot about all that?
Oh no.
Oh no, you
people
look,
hold on to
you
stuff.
talk, and you walk just like the ones that were doing that to them. Now I'm not saying there ain't no correctional officers come from our background, because there are some in there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of them try to they become a little worse sometimes than the squares. They're trying to fit in instead of being their own self. Like
And
I
you
guess-
gain more
Yeah.
respect when you're actually.
yeah, not
yourself.
all of them,
You
right?
treat
There's
people right.
obviously a ton of good-hearted correctional officers, right? A ton of them,
But
but
people-
they're rare
But
in the
that's
whole
that's-
circle,
that's
right?
People
Yeah.
in itself, when they get into an environment, like, people just feel like they cannot separate themselves from.
Their job.
They abuse their authority. That's
Right.
what that is.
That's what police
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
They abuse
That's
their
what the
authority.
I guess I missed my calling. Yeah, I'll be that black police officer. I'll be that black police officer from Boys in the Hood. Yep, that's
No, we
me.
don't need, we don't
Yep.
need you.
That's my role model.
So, Ruben, what are you doing now?
So, my God, I'm involved in so many things. So most people know me as Coach Ruben now. I don't carry the gang name no more. That person's dead. That person died about probably like 25 years ago. I do Gloves Up, Guns Down. I have my own organization. It's called Root Camp. I'm the ambassador in the state of Florida for the Credible Messengers. Credible Messengers, our mayor and our Orange County government is the first government in the state of Florida to invest.
Yours said for USA. That's all I'm trying to say. It didn't say for Florida. It said for USA.
Right. Well, it's not. I wish I could say for the USA, but we're the first. We're the first in the state of Florida that the government has invested in.
It's so huge. I didn't realize how big that organization is.
Yeah, so we use people of lived experience. Matter of fact, Ashley was a big part of our trainings when we first started doing it in the Pine Hills area. It's pretty neat to see her on this podcast because she was probably the most quiet person we had there, to be honest.
She's still the most quiet person.
Well, I don't know how she's gonna make it in this industry because you got to have a gift for gab to run a podcast.
Yeah, you're doing it.
But you silent killer.
Yeah, she's doing it. Yeah,
does
that's why when she asked me, "Hey, you want to get on?" She told me about this. I think a year and a half. Hey, I'm about to start a podcast. I really want to get you on there. I said, yeah, you can count me in. I'll support almost anything she does, as long as it's legal. I'll support it.
Yeah. he brought me in. I wanted to start my own, but that's coming down the line.
Right on.
This is the start.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
When you started the MMA boxing, what age were you when you actually started that? Like, what got you into that? To actually doing boxing?
So my father, Big Ruben Saldaña as well, trained the military in the biggest army base in the world, Fort Hood, Texas. He did a lot what I do now, but for the soldiers. He trained the army for 30-something years for free in their gym. And then when he got back to the neighborhood, we were living in a place called Venable Village in Fort Hood at that time. And he would train the kids. And the ring was the monkey bars. And I noticed in Florida, the monkey bars is the thing. That over there, it's the round thing. You're like trapped inside of it, right? Yeah, we called that the monkey bars over there in Texas and New York. I don't know what they hear the monkey bars.
It was like a pyramid
straight.
thing.
Yeah. No, it's not a pyramid. It's a circle. It's a half circle. Put in the grass. That was the ring that my dad used, right? And so I didn't like boxing. I remember all my friends loved it. I remember when I went in and I was beating up on my homeboy, and then he hit me one time, and as soon as it connected, I didn't want to box. My dad he was trying to pull me up out of the thing like a fly caught in a spider, right? I was crying. I didn't like the pain of it. I didn't like the violence of it. Yeah, I never wanted, but I hated boxing from that point forward. So that was something that my dad did. And the boys now had my dad force me to box, right? And give me that transition from scary boy to man, right? When I got to Miami, I wouldn't have joined no gangs. So this is why I think it's imperative that children stop, and I'm gonna use the words, stop sissifying your boys and your girls. When I train over 150 kids on the norm a week here in Orange County. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the toughest, and any of the boys that train with me or any of the mentors would tell you, when it comes to the young ones, the toughest are by far the girls. By far.
I always say that.
By far.
I always say that.
By far.
It's
I
their
grew up with
mental.
boys.
Yeah.
I grew up with boys.
Yeah, by far. They're a lot tougher. And it's we just gotta stop. I know it's a lot of single moms, but I'm telling you, I was raised by what felt like a single mom, because when she did get married again, he was in the military, so he was kind of like absent a lot. But you could be a single mom and still raise a man. You know, I know even some men are against that. Like, oh, it's no way. No, it's a way. There's plenty of them. I'm pure man, nothing but that, right? And I was raised what I consider a single mom. So, and I know many other brothers that were raised the same way. I just think, you know, when you hear people talking about, you know, we're watering down, where everything's being on bullied. I know bullies really exist. Trust me, I'm not blind to what's really going on. I'm with these kids. I'm in the streets 24/7 damn near. It feels like I'm sleeping in the streets. I know what's going on, and it's real. But overall, as soon as a kid, he bullied. Right, you know, and then you rubbing them on the head, and mom wants to stand because mom's tough. Now you putting this child through a phase of mentality where he'll never be able to protect himself. Forget the fact of his younger sisters or maybe his wife when he gets. How's he gonna protect her? He's scared to fight. He don't know how to fight, and he's scared to fight. So what's he gonna resort to? Now this is where I come in. What's he gonna resort to?
The gun.
The guns.
Now I gotta take the gun to school to protect
How to
myself.
protect yourself nowadays.
Yeah,
is
so
very important.
I wish it was somewhat like China, like where it was mandatory. Where your kids, instead of PE, you know, or whatever, to learn a form of martial arts, right? Even if it's in a safe setting, we ain't got to beat each other up in the faces, you know, and all that, right? But maybe some jujitsu or grappling or wrestling or soft boxing to start, so that they have a little bit of confidence, right? Some kind of form of self-defense, right? Is really important.
It is very important.
because our kids
Women
most of our
too.
kids don't know how to fight.
How do you feel about so over in Israel? You know about Israel, right? Every citizen has to be in the military for 2 years.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Oh
went
yeah,
to
I
Israel.
remember that.
I went to Israel, and when we were there, all the young people, when they first graduate from high school, they go straight to the military for 2 years.
Yeah.
And we saw them walking around in their uniforms. They're so young. You get what I'm saying?
They're probably more disciplined.
For America, we've lost. If you want to speak like from
Yeah.
country, from cultures, right? And when I say America, I'm going to speak the whole rainbow with it, right? We've lost our rites of passage from boy to man. Where is it? It's where does it start?
little
Where does it
boys.
end at, right?
What would you consider a rite of passage, though?
A rite of passage is when that child, that boy, has some more manly responsibilities now. The whole thing about I'm still in school, so I shouldn't have to pay rent, though I'm 19 years old, I'm 18 years old, or I can't help mom cut the grass, or I got my 70-something-year-old father cutting the grass. I can't take out the trash because I'm rushing to school. My video game is gonna take my life for 4 hours a day. Like that. Like, when do we start putting them excuses away? And there's a whole nother topic, right? Accountability. Our people.
You probably just hit some people hard, right?
Listen. My hashtag, my personal hashtag for 2023, I put hashtag 2023 accountability.
Come on now.
The Latinos and blacks, I said it. The Latinos and black, we lack accountability as a people. The blame game is so extreme. We know there's systematic
just talking
racism,
about
and we're
this.
fighting it. We're fighting. We understand that it exists. That's for real. We
but the
understand it
accountability
exists. But where is the
starts-
accountability at? When are we going to start saying, hey, my child might have got shot because maybe when I was taking the pictures of him taking them signs, them gang signs and them guns, and I thought it was cute because it reminded me of his dad who's already incarcerated, and now my baby got a bullet in his head for gangbang. Now I regret life. I hate life. Well, you should have thought about all that when you thought it was cute, dressing your kid up as a gangbanger at 9 years old, throwing up gang signs. We got to take
It really
accountability.
is happening.
What is your child doing out 11 at
really
night
is happening.
when he got arrested, and now it's the police's fault? Where's the accountability for our people? Like, it's a whole lot of issues we can go there, and that's why I'm often the black sheep amongst the black sheep, right? Because we're gonna hold accountability, and that's just the way it got to be, right? I think
have to be
healing
truthful.
starts with accountability, right?
Yeah.
It's just truth.
Even AA and NA, right? They start with, hey, I'm an alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't remember exactly how it goes. I've been in some of it, but I think you got to confess, right?
Yeah.
When you go to some of the churches, you got to confess. I don't believe in confessing no man, but you got to confess to God, right? Your sins, right?
Yeah.
So we practice it in every other area except as a people and as a community of accountability.
Each other.
It's not a
accountable.
lifestyle.
Yeah, we have no accountability, our people. Overall, we have no accountability. We got the blame game on lock.
That's because we
Man.
use it to cripple us.
Yeah.
If something doesn't go right, this is my background. I used to do this, or my parents used to do this.
It's an
And
excuse.
like it's always an excuse. So that cripples us, and that's the problem we're having now.
Right on.
We all, what it boils down to is this. Just like growing up, like if your friend make bad grades, right, and you make bad grades, and you go to your mother and say, "Well, Johnny made an F too," and her thing is like, I don't give a damn about what Johnny. I don't care about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny,
Yeah,
can
'cause
I-
I'm about to beat your behind. I don't know what Johnny's mom's gonna do to him, but I'm gonna do
Well,
something.
and that's what it boils down to. It boils down to
Its simplest form.
Yeah.
just holding someone accountability as a child. It starts from birth.
All right.
And I think that as times
I wish
have
my mama
progressed,
didn't hold me accountable so much sometimes.
as
I love you, mommy.
As times progress, parents started. You start to see younger parents.
Mm-hmm.
Younger parents now they want to be, instead of being a parent, they want to be
The homie.
friends. And when you have that, I'm not saying that it hurts, but it does take an effect within our community.
Yeah.
And I think within that, it gotta be a borderline of I'm the parent and you're the child.
We just need
You
more
don't know your
leaders.
role.
Sometimes we think if we take accountability, that means we gotta hold our head down. Hell no, that's the beginning of healing, to hold your head high.
Come on now.
See, that's
Come
the
on
problem
now.
with it. I can't say it's my fault because now I gotta walk around and shame my whole life, right? A lot of my brothers and sisters that did time in prison, that's how they gotta live the rest of their life. They gotta hide their record. They can't talk about it. They got to shame themselves. Hey, coach, please, I'm coming to your event, but don't tell them I was locked up, would you please? Because my mother-in-law don't know. See, I decided before I got out, I was going to take my story and I was going to put it in front of me, right? Paul, who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, right? And I'm not a Christian per se. I don't ever call myself a Christian per se. I do believe in Jesus. That's a whole nother topic, right? We probably won't even go there. But Paul, who wrote 2/3 of the New Testament, which the majority of the world claims to believe in, right, was a murderer of Christians. He didn't take that story and hide it. Right? Sure he put it right in front of them to tell the people, if I did this and now I believe in this, you better believe something touched my heart that was real. Right? So I decided I was going to take my story like Paul, and because I had the donkey in the ass speaking to me, right? It was all in my brain. And I said, I'm going to put my story in front of them. You going to accept me for who I am, or you going to reject me for who I ain't? Right?
I say it all the time.
Yeah, and so that has to do with
People have no
accountability.
choice. They have
Listen,
no choice.
you see, I told y'all the sob story. I didn't have a mama and dad, so I had to join. But look, I got hundreds of homeboys that made it that didn't join the gang.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, they were home at night. When them drive-bys were going on, when I was on my skateboard in them other neighborhoods doing other stuff than skateboarding, right?
Are you saying they had an option?
Yeah, they had an option.
Okay.
I just wish an OG
Had an option.
would have pulled me to the side. An OG. That's
real
these were
OG.
credible
A
messages
real
come in,
one.
right? Ones with lived experience, right? Came in and said, "Hey, look, we're gonna change the narrative."
Like real.
Yeah, real. Not no watered down snitch. And listen, I got nothing against good citizens. If my mama or your daddy or y'all, if y'all call the police, I'll never say that's a snitch. You know why? You're not held accountable to the gangster law. That's a big misconception, and that's why. And this has been repeated within our circles many times. This is why females or males being molested.
Don't say
Right? This is why they don't say nothing. There's two reasons why. One, it's the shame part of being called a snitch. The second part, a lot of times, and I just watched this 2 weeks ago, the cops, some of the cops, they need training in that on how to deal with people, because they will literally turn the victim into the perpetrator. I seen it with my own eye. I couldn't
Make it
believe
feel
what
like
I saw.
it's your fault that
Yeah.
happened to you.
They don't
Yeah.
have no.
They need training on it, right? And so when I watched that, I said, damn, now after 47 years, I see what the younger girls or the women that say I couldn't do it, I see what they were talking. I saw it with my own eye, and I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. Actually, to be honest, that's a whole nother story again, but they had to call backup for me because I snapped, right? I wasn't going to put my hands on, but, you know, I told him, hey, I'm Puerto Rican town, man. We speak loud as hell, man. I'm not, I don't have no bad intention toward you, and I respect. He said, oh, you don't like police? I said, no, I don't like the man in that police uniform right now. That's what I don't like.
Because that man is not correct.
I'm not policing. I don't like the way you're using that uniform right now. You just turned that woman called you for help. You just turned the victim into the perpetrator. That's crazy. I've been hearing about this for 40 something years.
And
now
you
I've seen
gotta
it.
see.
Yeah. So there's two problems
You
with
get
that,
to
right?
witness something
Lack of
that's totally
compassion.
different.
And also, I just want to chime in on this. Also, you got to think about, like, to go back to the prisons, right? The prisons of today wasn't like the prisons of yesterday. What I mean about that, like when my granddaddy was growing up, maybe my father was growing up, only time you probably really did life unless you did something real bad. Now, we look at it today is like a whole business.
I think it's been a business since the beginning. That was the whole purpose.
Well, it's privatized more now.
That's the whole purpose of them creating
it's-
it. You know, for
but
business, for money.
But even with that, you still didn't get all these life sentences, these harsh
Yes,
sentences.
they did. That's the whole
Not
purpose of the criminal system when they created it in the
not back when, you know, like when like in the 1920s, 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When you start seeing the changes, like during the 70s, 80s, especially when the crack, you know, epidemic happened.
Yeah.
Then the 90s. Then now, you know, it's like you go to jail for, you know, like for almost for anything.
For crying out loud, you
get
get
25 years
15
for a
years
nickel.
for a little bit of marijuana.
You go to jail longer for having weed. There's actually, surprising, there's still people in jail for weed. You go to
Even
jail
after
longer,
they're passing.
Yeah, you go to jail longer than drugs than for sexual offenses.
But that's their
That is
goal
so
to keep
crazy.
you in the system.
But also I want to throw out there too, even when my granddad was growing up, back then, if you did a crime, they did offer you to go into the military as well.
As a trade-off.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was offered that in 92. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And
I don't know if I served.
Probably would take it.
but it's just, you know, some things that, you know, I think they realized that they could make money off the prison systems.
Well, shouldn't that make our people mad?
Yeah.
And the poor white folks that's in there too. Shouldn't that make us mad to know that we're gonna be a profit for the biggest business industry and biggest corporation in the state of Florida? Shouldn't that, you would think that would be enough to make people mad, right? To say,
Yeah, but
damn,
the-
I'm about to send homeboy, that lawyer and that judge, I'm about to send their children on a vacation for the next 5 years.
They're blinded
right?
to it until we're overpopulated with prisons, more prisons than
Yeah.
schools.
Which is
But
happening
that,
now.
but all that boils down to who do you put in office? In my opinion, and the reason why I say that, because you look at how Florida is now with this crazy governor we got. You know, now you could carry a gun without
I just asked that question. Can I go grab me a gun real quick without a permit or none of that? I mean, since
If
they
you
just
black,
put it
no.
out there,
If you black,
I don't know. It might be a little
Everybody
hard.
don't need a gun.
You heard me.
No, but
They don't need to have no.
I
guns.
mean, they're
and I'm curious about. So, do you remember your first day out when you got out of prison? Do you remember?
Oh, absolutely.
what did you eat?
Waffle House. Wait. Let's guess. I'm saying Waffle House. I'm saying your first thing was Waffle
macaroni
House.
cheese.
What was the first thing you ate?
I
when
bet
got
you
out?
they had a nice cooked meal for you.
Tell us.
Yeah,
brother.
who said
They
the
did?
home cooked meal?
I did.
All three of y'all did? Yeah. The
course
women
the
got it
women
right,
say
man.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely home cooked.
But what did you
want some
do,
of that
though?
home cooked meal.
What did you do when you got out?
I appreciated everything. When my car breaks down and I'm being rained on, I said, thank you, God, for allowing me to have this wetness out here. Thank you for even allowing me to travel from one to a place to another. When the kids, like, they messed up my hair, right? I let them play on my hair. Actually, I think the girl tightened me up really good now, right? Yeah, she tightened me
You
up.
want me
So
to-
what's
you
left
like-
up there, she tightened me up,
I
right?
got you right.
And
Zoom
you know,
in on that.
most people, I've seen people want to literally feel, I think they're going to kill somebody behind their hair being messed up. To me, I'm like, thank God I could cut it off and God will grow it back again, right? Yeah. So far, maybe 5 years from now, I can't say that. But for right now, to grow back. And so I'm thankful, I'm grateful. And this is why I like being with brothers and sisters that did a lot of time in prison, because we watch other people complain. Three things I recommend for
Tell us how to be
Americans,
thankful. Come on.
for anti-American
Give it to
Americans. 3 things. Y'all ready for this?
Anti-American.
Give it to us.
Yeah, you know we got anti-American Americans. Maybe more than the other way
course.
around at this point.
The whole
Look,
world.
so 3 things. Join the military so you can learn to, that's a legal prison, right? Go to prison. I don't recommend that one. Or go to a third world country. Go back to the motherland. Go to Africa. Go to South America. And I'm not talking about visit for 1 or 2 days. Go engage and indulge with people. And I promise when you come back, you'll learn to appreciate everything we have here. Let me ask y'all something. Black Lives Matter. How many Africans and Haitians you seen side by side? I ain't talking about the watered down Americanized. How many you seen? Talk to me.
How many what?
How many did you see involved? Front line here in Orlando. We ain't gonna talk about other states and say I don't want people writing me tomorrow. Oh, I had this. Overall, you know why? Talk to them. The vast majority appreciate everything they have.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying we got to
No, I
take the
agree
bull
with-
crap
I
that we got to
agree
accept the
with you.
systematic racism and the abuse and no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we have a lot more to appreciate than we don't, and I found that out through prison, unfortunately, and now as a world traveler, going to these other countries. Like when I go
found
to the
it out
Pearl
through
of Africa,
traveling as
which is so beautiful, right? Them kids have nothing. And I mean
They're
nothing.
so
And they
grateful.
appreciate everything. Our kids have everything
Don't
and
appreciate
cry about
nothing.
everything.
Yes.
Right now,
Like I
mine's a
almost
board.
gave up on my work over here with these kids. I swear. I was like, oh my God, I'm literally like pouring my heart, my resources, my money, everything with the kids. Oh, wait, what happened to your phone? Okay, we're gonna try to get it. No, don't do that, please. And I'm like, damn, these kids over here don't even have shoes, socks, and they're smiling. Go down my album. Go down. Or
They're
go.
having a great
You ain't gotta look at
time.
my. Go hit the Pearl of Africa. Go to Uganda, right? Or go look at what they're smiling. They're loving life.
What has been your experience based off of going to Africa based on here? I know you said they're ungrateful here versus here. Like, what is the change
There's a
in
lot of
culture?
myths. One is the anti-American sentiment. I found that to be totally untrue. The 90% of the Africans I met, no matter what country I was at, want to come visit here or live here. So that's a lie. That's one.
everywhere I went.
Obviously, they were colonized and raped of a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? But that's one myth. People are like, oh, I can't tell you how many times, especially my skin, because you're going to get kidnapped. I keep going back. I just came back, I think, a month and a half ago or something like that, right? And so that's the first myth. The second thing, I finally saw what it looks like to see in action, love thy neighbor. See, here that means love your Christian brother and sister that you go to church with. See, love thy neighbor over there, because what I do, I train, I got 3 teams I train over there in MMA. Right, one is a police team. It's called the Black Lions MMA. It's a police academy.
I got some video here.
Yeah. Oh, do you? Yep. Okay, that's the Pentagon. That's the rooftop. That's in the ghetto right there. So, yeah, that's in the ghetto right there.
That's lit.
Yeah, there I go. That was about a month and a half ago. That's Captain America. They called him Captain America. They said they never seen a white dude so big. He's from Chicago, my man Sam. Yeah. So. Okay, that's the yard. That's the backyard right there. That's where I train the kids out here in Orlando. One of the training locations.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna need that information.
That's the Black Lions MMA. So that's a police academy, right? And so, I mean, who would have ever thought in a million years, you know, all the time I did, I would be over there in a whole nother country in Africa training there. So, but that's a living for them. You understand what I'm saying? That's how they can't eat without that job, right? And so what I like is that we could teach responsibility, honor, because they're martial artists. They have discipline. They're not out there beating on the people. The people don't see them and they're scared of them. You see it, they dress just, what look different than them, than the people on the Pentagon, on the rooftop? Nothing. You can't even tell the difference, right? Until they're in uniform, that's when you could tell the difference, right? But they're loved and respected for the people that they are. So the second thing that I realized is love thy neighbor. Some of those fight teams, all those fight teams have Muslims, Christians, Rastafarians, and Native, you know, the Native tribal. Because I know to us, it looks like, oh, that's one people, that's the Africans. No. In that country alone, I think there's 50-something different tribes, they told me. Some of them can't even understand each other, right? So you see what I'm saying, though? Muslims, Christians, all that right there. One team, one love. You can't even tell the difference. So I learned what love thy neighbor is there, not here, right? That's the second thing. And the third thing, and I'm sorry, it's a sex thing. All black women don't have big butts in Africa. That is a lie. That is a lie.
Not unless they're taking the maca cream.
That is a lie.
What is called? I swear I got some.
Because you know we use that a whole lot over here, right? She got a booty like an African. And I guess I could throw a fourth one in. Hot as Africa. Man, it is cold over there. It's cold in the mornings. It's cold. It's cold. Orlando, I just came from Egypt as well, so we can say, oh, you only been in one part of Africa. I've been in a couple of parts.
It's just different.
Yeah, it's
on that side of the world.
It gets really cold over there. I was freezing in Egypt. I mean, I had a scully on and all kinds of stuff. It was cold to me. Like, it's not like that all day long and not all season long. But
I've been to places where you have to have a jacket, umbrella. It's gonna rain a little bit.
So that whole thing about hot, like I got some of my fighters right now in Thailand. I was just speaking with them 2 days ago. I was like, how is it there? Like, coach, it's hot. We dying. I said, what, man? You from Africa? What the hell you mean it's hot over there in Thailand? They're like, we dying. I want to leave. I want to go back home.
I bet it's different.
Yeah. So there's a lot of myths, right? And so the same thing I just said about prison. There's a lot of myths about the motherland. But I recommend for probably every white racist that I've ever met or know or don't know. No, I'm serious. Go to the motherland, because you're gonna see love like you never seen it before. Because listen, the blacks in Africa are the most loving people I've ever met in my life. And of course, I haven't met every African. Of course, there's probably 1,000
blacks in America
I won't get along with or won't like me, right?
The Southern,
but there's a lot to learn from the ancient culture, right? I had a black sister ask me on Instagram not too long. It was pretty rude. She was like, "Oh, why you so why you always going for your nationality? Why you always going to Africa?" I said, first of all, I do go to Mom. I do go to South America. I do love my people. I'm a very proud Latino. I mean, I'm tatted up with it everywhere, right? I'm a proud Latino. I said, but if since you being so ignorant, if you understood, you know, Africa is not just the motherland for blacks. It's the motherland for the entire mankind. Correct. So if you know your history correct,
No, I was going to say it boils down to what I learned in African American experience, the Eve theory, that everybody, all races come from Eve.
Well, genetically, we can go biblically with it, about where it's at.
It was something that, it was a class
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But even for those that don't believe in Bible or Quran, speaking about, where it was at, the location of the Garden of Eden. But look at scientifically, right now, there's a tribe in Africa, the San people, there's a disrespectful name for them. You'll find it more common on the internet, called the Bushmen. They have every genetic of mankind around the world. Nobody else, no other people on the planet has that except them. They're in their DNA. Every single body's DNA on the planet could be traced back to theirs. Nobody else could do it. I mean, that speaks for itself. That's kind of like, Go argue with the scientists. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. You know.
And also you got to think about it like this. Okay, when you go into climates that are like colder, your hair tends to thin.
Right. Your nose thins out.
Then
Your lips thin out. Yeah.
Lips, then the skin tone.
Yeah.
Because you actually think about it, since everybody originated from Africa, you think about when everybody separated, started going to colder climates. That's when you start seeing the developments of changes through evolution. But people don't want to talk about that because people don't want to recognize and realize that, hey, we all come from Africa, but they want to make it so controversial. But it's just not controversial. The truth is the truth.
That's it.
It's just
Point
the
blank period.
same
I don't have no
difference.
problem accepting the truth, right? It hurts a lot of people's feelings, but it is what it is, right?
And this is what and also like in
It strips people of supremacy. Let's look at the blonde hair, blue eye, white Jesus, right? Which was really the Renaissance. That was the arts of my people, the Italians, right? Making Michelangelo's, the respect that they made Jesus, who was the Son of God according to their belief system, right? In the image. So if Jesus is in the image of God, and Jesus is white, that makes God white, right? But we know there's only one color description of Jesus in the Bible, in Revelations, and that was bronze, right? Yeah. So we know right now that would be classified as brown and or black, right? And so I'm saying, I didn't write the Bible either, so whoever's mad about this conversation, just go talk to whoever had that revelation, John, I think it was.
Take it up with God.
Oh, yeah, take it up with whoever you want to take it up with.
And also you got to think about it with, within that, with Africa, right? When you go to everywhere, it's Africa. You go to Italy, you see dark skin Italian.
Yeah.
You go to China, they don't talk about it. You see dark niche.
Africans.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have dark skin. Because of black is universal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because we are the dominant trait.
Right.
But people don't want to accept that because people don't want to accept the truth.
Well, I got a question for all of y'all. If you take 100 white men, pure white men, 100 pure white women, and let them have sex for 100 years, how many black kids will you get out of that?
None of them.
I have no idea.
What's in the bloodline?
No, I said pure.
Pure.
All right, so let me reverse the question. If you take 100 black men and 100 jet black, we're talking that purple black, right? 100 black men, 100 black women, and let them have sex for 100 years, how many white people are you going to come out of that?
8%.
Do you really mean that?
Yes,
Why?
because black people hold all the genes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know the percentage, but everybody tells me no, none. Albinos.
Yeah.
And I've watched some Maury episodes where
Come on.
you were like, hey, this is
That-
the father? Okay.
Yeah. So, it's just sometimes, if we're going to base, and listen, I've always disliked Disney World. I still want y'all to sponsor us one day, Disney World. No, I always did. Listen, it was boring.
Don't do Disney
It was
World. We
long
from
lines.
Orlando. I
But,
gotta represent.
but right now,
it ain't really in Orlando, it's in Kissimmee.
yeah, but right now, I'm a Disney fanatic. I love Disney cartoon. A matter of fact, if y'all went to the Instagram, you seen Little Mermaid, the Ariel.
I
She
haven't
gave us a
watched
shout
the new
out.
one.
Ruth Cancher, she sung for us and everything yesterday. Yeah, it's on my Instagram. The real Little Mermaid, right? Ariel. Yeah. So where I'm going, I love Disney now. You know why? Because fantasy feels a lot better than reality right now.
Correct.
Because we
You know it's
listen.
fantasy,
Oh,
though.
I know it's fantasy, and it feels so much better than reality right now.
Because you can accept it.
Reality.
You can
So
accept it as a
when
fantasy.
when y'all start ready
In the
talking about this
moment.
work, this gloves up, guns down work, let me know because So we're gonna go back to the heavy work whenever y'all ready. This is your
Ready.
podcast.
Go ahead,
But
go
when you're
ahead.
ready, so our kids are having a problem of killing one another. This didn't just start yesterday. It didn't start in Pine Hills. It doesn't end in Pine Hills. It didn't start in Orlando and it doesn't end in Orlando. But we live in Orlando, so we want to take public safety first here where we live at, right, in our community. And so if you're with these kids and firsthand, we deal with a lot of the former shooters, active shooters, possibly, potentially, God forbid, future shooters, right? This is what we deal with. And you wouldn't know them when you come train with us with the 30, 40 kids. You wouldn't be able to tell who's the shooters. You could tell who has the attitude and who doesn't. But overall, you wouldn't know who's getting the A's, who's not even in school. You wouldn't know because they're really children, but
just wanna be
they're
kids.
misguided, right? Yeah. And then so I'm coming to a lot of conclusions that I thought I would never come to in my life, right? And I think at this point, and we always say, you know, the rappers have influence, but I think I'm really gonna focus heavy on the rappers, because our kids, and I was guilty of this, accountability, right? They don't know how to listen to an entertainment song, and they're trying to live their entire lifestyle based upon another man or woman's 3-minute rap song.
Correct.
Their whole lifestyle based upon this 3-minute. I ain't never scared. Come on with that. But the guy that sung that gets scared of stuff. Let him look at a life sentence or death penalty.
Oh,
let him get a pistol in his mouth, right? So I know y'all were talking about politics and guns, and I'll hit on that real quick. And I really don't want to go too deep into that, right? That causes like unnecessary controversy. In my line of work, if you're helping, I don't care if you're wearing red, blue, 4 guns, again, I wouldn't give a damn, because when these shooters, and all of y'all, you know, you're black. So you know what I'm talking about. When they pull out that gun and put it to your head, they ain't asking, are you gay or straight?
Nope.
Did you vote for Obama or Trump? Nope. Are you voting for DeSantis? That's not the issue. No. We have to change the narrative. And I'm telling you right now, and a lot of program providers will not like me saying that. They're going to hit me on, oh, you know my stat. We're losing the battle. We're losing it. I'm telling you, let me tell you how I know we're losing it. We can have the kids here right now in the pod. They'll love the podcast. They'll be in here. They'll love this, right? They love this type of stuff. Y'all could actually have a great influence on a lot of our kids. The problem is when you send them home and shut the doors, go look on their Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of that.
So how much do we? How do we really change them? How?
I was just about to
How do we change the 12, 13 years of, like I like to say, trauma and drama in 3 months, a 3-month program, or 2 hours every week? You see? So as credible messengers, if you want to be a mentor, you can't play with this game. Listen, half mentoring, half-ass results every time, guaranteeing you. If you're not there for them, you have to mentors now, counselors now, teachers now. If you want to have a long-term effect on these kids, you have to become a parent. I promise you. I'm a parent to like 100 kids right now. And that causes waves. Some moms appreciate it. You already know about some of the dads. Some of them deadbeat dads, they can't stand me. Some of them dead.
Because they're not
They only want to be around that motherfucking coat. Well, God, come get your kid, bro.
Yeah.
God dang, come do something with your kid. I'm
don't
not
even
stopping you
wanna
from
do
doing nothing with your
anything.
kid. Do something with your kid. But they get tired of their own kid half of the time, right?
Yeah.
So
what is your process? The breakdown process.
the
to
break,
get to the kids?
I'm learning. First of all, you see a lot of people look at my story. Oh, the gangbanger, gang leader, been in prison. Man, them kids don't want to hear my damn story. I'm old. That's my story. My story is not your story.
That part.
Your story is not their story. But we do need the former prostitutes. We do need the former crackheads. We
they
do
can
need
hear
the
it.
former
So they know it
gangbangers.
exists.
Well, they're headed there. They're there or they're headed there. I can't relate with a woman going through prostitute or a boy. Don't sleep on it now.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of stuff's coming out at our circles right now that are shocking me. Some of these toughest kids, when I was growing up, the gangbangers, we weren't molested. All my home, or if we were, nobody spoke about it. These tough kids now, a lot of these kids are being touched. And it's not always by a man.
It's always by an older woman.
It's not always by a man.
Teachers.
Right? So I'm telling you, the game is flipping where we can't distinguish what's good and it's just so, it's a blurry line even as a mentor. So I'm learning. To answer your question, I'm in a learning phase just like with the kid, but I know my story's not their story, so I got to do a lot of this.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
Right? This is where a lot of parents, and I love the majority of my parents, this is where they're failing at. Here, take this phone. Take this iPad.
yeah.
That's the thing.
And then we want to talk bad about you always on the iPad. God dang, for the past 10 years, that's all you gave them. Now you want them off it because you got a little free time.
Correct.
But that's who raised them, right? So I'm telling you, we're dealing with so many problems right now. I'm confused. And I don't mind taking accountability. I love the kids. Yeah. My work, I don't care who's, I always have haters. Always. There's going to be haters. I'm probably hitting up on YouTube. Fuck that motherfucker. Rival game member.
What's crazy?
But you know what? You know what I tell them? Don't ask the parent. Don't ask me. Don't ask Ashley. Don't ask my fellow credible men. Ask the children how I treat them. Ask them. Without me around. Ask them. Because the kids know I will die for them. Proven.
See, that's the thing. We just need more programs for these kids. And a lot of these programs will charge you an arm and a leg. When I was growing up, we had plenty of programs. We could just go have fun, be around kids, kids.
We could.
Boys and Girls Club,
Yeah.
camps. Now you have to pay an arm and a leg. So, yeah, it's kind of hard on the parent
Yeah.
when you're talking about, for a week, I'm paying you $400
Yeah.
just for my kid to stay off the streets.
Right.
So it's a little
To let you
hard.
know, we're
Yeah,
free. So we have the Root Camp is the only youth crime prevention program in the world that trains kids in Afro-Latin breakdance, mixed martial arts, and boxing outside in high crime areas for free. There is no other program in the world. Yeah, we are free.
What are you doing? Okay, so like the school shooting that just passed. Is there something that you guys are? Because I know it hasn't happened here in Orlando. Hopefully it doesn't. But to prevent that happening to more schools, like what is being put in place in the schools along with the credible messengers? Like, is there something you guys can do?
First of all, in Orange County, credible messengers can't do work in public schools.
Okay.
Our laws still have the red tape about, I mean, look, you could be a parent, you can have 8 children in school, you got a record, you can't even volunteer to be with your child in that school. Yeah. So let's start with the parents before we even talk about credible messenger mentors, right? That's not gonna happen, that's not a reality. What we could do though is have, like you don't see credible message. You don't see us on billboards. You don't see us in commercials. No. You don't see us on radio shows, right? Our work, we're on the streets, sneaks to the streets. That's what we call it. We're there. So anybody who really wants to help, they'll be able to find it. We're very easy to find, right? You ain't got to look around corners. Say,
I say that all the time.
Yeah, we're very easy to find. We're in Pine Hills, we're in Paramore, we're in Oak Ridge OBT, and I got some of my Haitian brothers out there in Americana, Texas. So we're in the 4, what they call the 4 red zones, right? And we're not just limited there. We got kids come from other areas.
So these are offices in the different locations?
No, we train in the backyard, literally out of the dirt. I train in my backyard. I got the only backyard in the world that has a MMA cage and a boxing ring. And so there it goes right there. You see that cage? The MMA, and then there's a ring right behind the camera itself. 1, 2, 3. And so all that's been donated to us. And you notice the kids aren't hitting each other in the face, right? So we want their young brains to develop when they're not on an advanced level. We don't let them just beat each other's brains down. We don't do none of that, right? We believe, I mean, safety measure. Let me just say this. Doing this almost 10 years, not a single arrest under our watch. Not a single ambulance assistance needed in hundreds of trainings, hundreds of we've competed at California, Maryland, Africa, Amsterdam last year, Rome, Italy's Olympic Center. I mean, we've been all over the United States, all over the world. Chicago, we've done Gloves Up, Guns Down. Chicago shows us much love, contrary to what people believe. People would say, oh my God, you crazy. You gonna go up there to Chicago? Yeah, you know what I did? I got with all the OGs. I didn't unify, they were already unified. They were looking for something to help with these kids. And they accepted Root Camp and made it part of them. So we got Root Camp Chicago with a couple of brothers. And if I'm not gonna name drop, but if you see some of the people involved with us,
are you growing?
Oh yeah, no, we're definitely growing. But we need more help. I'm only one person, right?
Yeah.
We definitely
you see what I'm saying?
help.
And the majority of our credible message, if you read up credible message, you'll see formerly incarcerated, form again. Let me tell you something. We did 20 certifications here over the summer last year, and the majority were female, and not a single one of them been in prison. Not a single one of them got a record. We just got our first one with a record. I can't wait for y'all to meet her. I actually sent y'all the flyer, Catherine Jones. So she tells her story a lot better than I'll tell it, but to give you a small sense, because you can research her. Okay. Her and her brother were the youngest siblings in the United States to be sentenced as kids to prison for life sentences for murder. So they were both being sexually molested by a sexual predator on probation, living in their crib. And I'm going to leave the story at that, but she's obviously out, and she's with the credible message, and she's doing an amazing, I can't tell you how much our kids, our girls, gravitate towards it. There's a reason. Why you think? We ain't got to talk about it, right? I can't tell you how many of our girls gravitate towards her. Yeah. I love her. When's Cat coming around? There's a reason for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Figure it out. Simple math, right? Yeah. Simple math.
You know, it's so crazy because, like, when I was growing up, I used to be part of this program called the Badge Program. And the Badge Program was dealing with Orange County Sheriff.
Isn't that like the DARE program? No, the DARE program.
No, totally different. Because at that time,
we all went through DARE. Did DARE work?
Yeah. What this program was back in the 90s was Sheriff Kevin Berry and the deputies. They would during the school year. If you're in that program, they teach you to write essays. They take you out to field trips like Halloween Horror Nights. They took you to, oh man, my mind just ran on 100 miles per hour. Let me go ahead and speed it up right quick. Took us to Busch Gardens, and during the summertime, we had like a little summer program every week, $25. At that time, $25 was a lot of money back in the 90s.
I wish they would bring it back.
But towards the end of the summer, they would take the kids to South Carolina, between South Carolina and Georgia, and take them to whitewater rafting. They did whitewater.
So basically, just letting them see the world at a different view. Basically,
Yes,
whitewater rafting.
and
We're not doing that.
On whitewater rafting, hiking.
And you,
We also stayed in also did camping too. We camped, fire.
But do you think they really would you consider yourself somebody who was in a position of
trouble?
No, they had trouble kids in there too.
Okay,
as well.
Was it really reaching people?
Yes, because it really helped out a lot of kids at the time during the summertime. Because the thing about it, in the summertime,
I get not having nothing to do.
You know what I'm saying? During
but
the
I'm talking
summer,
about
what I'm saying is during the summertime, that's when most kids do get in trouble because they ain't too much to do.
And it's hot.
And plus,
especially in Florida.
Yeah.
And plus, when they do that,
We never had a.
and as well as during the summertime, like on Fridays, either we go to Springs or we go to Wet and Wild.
So basically, keep the kids busy.
Yes, and the thing about we need more programs like that in our community, especially with the relationship between the police and
I'm
the
sure
community.
there's programs out here that we don't know about. I wish we connect with them. Connect with us, y'all.
How can we help?
Yeah.
Right. Well,
connect with us.
Yeah.
I've been there's several past interviews and stuff that I've been hitting, like a lot of panels, actually not really interviews, they were just recorded. A lot of people ask me who are the best influences on these kids, and the two things I say, first, obviously the rappers, right? A lot of people sleep on that, it's rap, but really these kids, ask a child, what are your top 3 favorite songs? And that'll tell you a whole lot about that child. Ask them. Just ask them. Hey, and say it don't say it mean.
Do you know
say,
that's
hey, baby,
a question I ask all the time?
Ask a child, what are your top 3 songs you like? If they ain't talking R&B and Little Mermaid, I want to be where the people
my little
are,
nephews
and all that other
and
good
his
stuff.
friends, I ask that question. I ask them all the time.
What do they
What's
say?
their top 3?
Yeah, even the
I love rap, so I be like, "What's your top 3?" And so I can tell where they're at mentally.
Oh, yeah.
If they say NBA YoungBoy, they top 1, I'd be like, "Okay, he's still." But I love NBA YoungBoy.
But how
I'm trying
can
to throw
we
no
reach
shade.
them?
Right.
We need to reach them before.
But
Right.
they say it so quickly, like they know.
We need to reach the rappers and the
See,
singers,
it
the whole
goes hand in
industry.
hand, right? The hood kids and the good kids look up to the rappers, but the rappers can't have credibility without the hood kids. So if we can hold the hood kids and have them change the narrative to say, nah, bro, you gonna rap. You could tell your rap, but you're gonna say what happened after you shot, how you went and told about that. And now you don't even live in the same hood you represent.
They're really
you got
rappers who are
the
saying
hood
stuff
kids got to
now.
start putting them rappers on blast. Now, if the rapper's a real street rapper, then we need to reach them and say, hey, my man, can we give back to the community you love? Because it's obvious you love it because you repping it in all your songs.
It was
you
a
understand
rapper
what I'm
who
saying?
said it recently. It was a rapper who came out and said it recently. Like he realized the real impact. He's a young rapper, and I think it was NBA, and I'm just said his name.
Yeah.
But he said something. He said he realized the impact that he had on music. Like they do.
I think I've seen that.
They
and
do.
He decided to stop.
He said something about violence.
But who would you say is the second most? Because this is what I deal with a lot in panels. Who would you say is the second most?
I mean,
For the females,
personally,
girls,
The
city
women.
girls,
The
city
women.
girls, city girls,
The women.
Megan
You
Thee
talking about
Stallion.
the
Women.
impact.
No,
Those
it's
are
definitely
the-
women.
yeah.
It's definitely y'all. Let me tell you why. Dude's about to go at it, right? Me and this brother try to intervene.
Women is the problem.
No, women are the influencers. 100%.
Come on
Oh,
now,
yeah.
we do.
100%.
We do.
No,
We
check it out.
do.
It's a fight about to go down. 2 brothers,
Yeah.
3 brothers. Make them whatever nationality you want. Me and this brother said, hey, y'all, he might look like somebody that swung on Buddy. I might look like somebody they don't like, or they ain't respecting us because they think we're trying to get some kind of video going to show that we're just beautiful peacemakers when we really ain't. We're just looking for some views on YouTube or something, right?
Come on now.
Well, one of y'all, baby, what y'all doing? They stop immediately.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of grandma, mom, or they might even want to flirt with
Women
you.
really do got
They
that
might
power.
even wanna flirt
We
with
really
you.
do got that power.
Y'all got that power. I promise you. So if the women will start saying, babe, you ain't got to carry that around. That ain't impressing me. What impresses me when you smile and you leave that home, you leave that tool home, that's not impressing me, babe. We can get hurt with. Like, the women they're underestimating the power they have to influence the minds of the men.
There really is a lot of girls out here who just want to be protected, so they kind of like that energy. We don't want to. I mean, it really exists. I'm telling you, that other part exists. When you talk about the softness,
right? Yeah, they want a strong man to be there. Yeah,
a lot of women out there who don't
step them up, tell them to get in the gym.
It's a lot of women out there who really want that person to really be in the streets like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's
listen,
path.
people tell me all the time, "Oh, you keeping kids off the street." That's a lie. I keep them on the street, but doing the right thing. We own those streets. We pay public dollars for them streets. Correct. I don't say, "Oh, the street. Why the streets bad?" I see we can go through some neighborhoods. Them streets are beautiful. I wish I could be riding my bike and skateboard on them little pretty old bumps and all. Right. You get what I'm saying? With nothing's wrong with the streets. It's what we're doing on the streets that make the streets wrong. Mm-hmm. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we are coming to a close, and
this is the end.
I know this is the end. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
April 22nd. Before we close out,
I want you to put out all your events you have going on, so that we can be involved as well.
This Monday, New Image Youth Center, Paramore, downtown Orlando. Mats down, guns down. Some of our kids be grappling from 5 years old to 40-something years old. They're gonna be grappling. Yeah, it's a free community event. 4 to 7. New Image Youth Center, 4 to 7, downtown Orlando. The Good in the Hood. That's the AKA. Mats down, guns. We're gonna lay some mats down in the parking lot. The kids are gonna grapple.
Bring your kids.
Bring your kids. Bring them.
And
if you're a good grappler, you can jump into. Just reach out to me. I'll get you matched up. Or if you want to match up with somebody, you can do that too. And then April 26th is a big day. It's the Puerto Rican Day Parade. We're gonna participate in that. But we have Muhammad Ali's only biological son coming. Come on. We have one of the Puerto Rican stars, Hector Camacho, Macho Camacho Jr. His son is coming, and we got Charles Bennett. He goes by the name Felony now. He's personally my favorite, most entertaining MMA fighter. You can look him up. You're gonna see all kinds of. But he's from the hood, and he's a perfect example of what a hood kid looks like doing MMA right now. Right? He's transparent. He's not gonna. I can't tell him, hold it, nothing's getting sugar. Well, our kids need that. They need that direct. He's going to be that direct pipeline. Muhammad Ali Jr., Hector Camacho Jr., they know how to transfer it over when it's time to, talk proper. But he's going to give it raw. So we got them 3 coming. We got a youth crime prevention panel. It's called Gloves Up, Guns Down.
Please leave us those those event flyers.
Yeah, the flyers I sent them to you. Yeah, I sent them to you. Those 3 flyers I sent to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent them. And then Catherine Jones, the sister I was telling you about, next May we're going to be on a panel. I think it's in Valencia. I'm sorry if it was UCF. I don't remember what college it is. Yeah, it's on the flyer. I sent you those 3 flyers. So.
Okay. So I want to thank you for coming out and giving us all the information that you did about the Gloves Up, about the MMA. I wish we could go into more because I know it's plenty to talk about, even the dancing, the ghetto kids. But hopefully we can have you on again. I do want to make an announcement about the Easter egg hunt that we are having Sunday, August 9th. What's that, August?
She said August.
April 9th.
Good grief.
Wow.
Like she just changed Easter.
I'm thinking about your Easter. Okay. But April 9th, it will be from 1 to 4 p.m. It is first come, first serve. So when we run out, we run out. We'll have another event. But try to make it out with your kids and just come out and have some fun. Let your kids come out from, I think, what is the ages? From 1 to, 1 to 9?
Yeah, 1 to 9.
1 to 9. Yep. So, yeah, just come out, have a good time, support us. And I just want to close out and say thank you guys for tuning in with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
See you next time.